Well, as you can see, I'm kind of making a little bit of progress on the playfield. I cut it down to size, basically from, well, across it is 20 and an eighth, and then from top to bottom it is 45. That's somewhat of a standard size. There's definitely variations on the size. I believe this would be the size of a Stern pinball machine, roughly. They're definitely shorter ones and longer ones. The width is roughly about the same unless you do a what they call a wide body. I don't remember the size of a wide body across off the top of my head, but it's definitely a few inches bigger. Um, I used the blue tape for two reasons. One, it was easier to see the line I drew to cut, and also for plywood, when you're using a circular saw, sometimes when you get to the ends, it kind of chips it, and the tape helps keep the layers of the plywood kind of at the ends kind of together. It definitely helps, so it was worth it. Um, Also, I don't know if you can see the arrow there. When I drew the line, um, this side of the line was where I was cutting. I didn't want to cut on the line or on the other side of the line, because then it would actually alter the size of the playfield. And again, yeah, it has to be somewhat exact, but I mean, it's not doesn't have to be perfect, especially for the whitewood, especially the first one. It's really a mock up. You're definitely gonna, like I said in my last video, this board is definitely gonna be a waste. But it's definitely the start of the whole project. So where I'm at now is I'm actually measuring out for the lower third. Here, let me kind of show you what I'm going by. I don't know how well you can see that, but this was a not necessarily the standard dimensions for lower third, um, it definitely got me a starting point. I like this layout. You can definitely do lower thirds different. Here, let me show you my older Primo machine. You can show you a different lower third there, and you can see it's very drastically different than something modern. It only's got an outline, doesn't have an inner lane on the left and right. It's got a big pop bumper in the middle. The flippers are spaced way further apart than they normally would, and so there is no real rule, but there's somewhat of rules. So, like I said, this is definitely what I'm going by. Gives me a good starting point for the lower third. This way, the dimensions are kind of set. Now, one thing I did think when I first started doing this was here. Let me show you. Uh, this guide is basically where it's going to wind up being, but as you can see, the edge to the guide, I really thought it was too thin. Because you still have like a half an inch side rail that's going to go along here. The blue tape doesn't represent that half inch, but um, gave me an idea, and then obviously I measured it. This ruler is in millimeters because if you saw on the diagram, everything's millimeters. So I got a ruler that can definitely help me measure out correctly. But anyway, I really thought this was way too thin. But I checked a lot of other diagrams and CNC projects that you can use to actually, use a CNC machine to cut out your playfield. Unfortunately, I don't have a CNC machine, so I have to do this the hard way and kind of measure everything out and drill it by hand. The final product maybe I will go to a place and get it CNC machined because basically once I get the dimensions, I'm going to measure everything out and then actually put it into a program. So if I really had to ever make it again, the playfield again, it's there. I don't have to measure everything out. But for right now, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, measuring it out. The paper just helps me if I need to do lines and write anything on it to make sure I know what I'm doing. Arrows, like I said, very, very big on making sure I have directional references. So that's what the paper's for, just to help me. I just don't want to write all over the wood and have it there, in the finished product, or not that this would be finished, but even in the demo product here. But anyway, that's the progress I'm making. So far, so good. Once I get the lower third all laid out and maybe not drilled yet, but laid out, I'll come back and I'll show you where everything's winding up. It'll probably just be, a bunch of white pieces of paper, but all marked up and ready to go and cut out. So, till then, talk to you later.